But I say just get started, like we could just chat.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
Michelle, I've got a really important question for you. I think Stacey knows what I'm going to ask you. All right.
I love your accent first.
I'm glad you love my accent. I'll allude to that accent shortly here. Michelle, really important question. I'm betting as I ask you this question, Terry, I promoted you to a panelist, by the way. I know you might be at your son's game, but you're more than welcome if you want to promote to a panelist, and that way you can unmute yourself and listen in at least. Michelle, really important question. At this present moment in time, I bet I know what you're going to do as a result of this question. It's really important.
Okay.
Are you by chance decent from the neck up at this moment in time?
Am I what?
Are you decent from the neck up?
Yes.
And then what happened? You start cracking up. Terry, I did not tell Michelle to laugh at that, by the way. So that's funny. That's always, one of the things I'm going to talk about in communication is creating predictability. Whenever you say something and it always gets the same reaction, the idea is to keep going on that throw. So, Stacey, I have the floor. I'm going to share my screen, right?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So, real quick, Michelle, if you are decent from the neck up, if I can, guys, it's going to be a little bit difficult if at the very least, if you can all unmute yourselves. All right, so I can actually pose questions here and see what your answers are to some of this stuff. Real quick, how many of you, like me, just with a yes, then if I can't see your faces, believe that communication is very important for what you do?
Yes.
Okay, great. Funny that we're all on the same page. My next question, Michelle, before I start teaching you communication things, since you're on here tonight, what benefits do you get being better in the area of communication?
The benefits of knowing that I can rely on guaranteed information, and just, knowing that we are communicating so that we have a strong balance of knowing what's going on. So communication is very key. Very key.
Would you agree with me that you'll get more business coming your way the better you are in communication?
I agree heavily.
Terrific. All right, now Stacey's invited me along to talk. Noah, who's on here, I don't know how many of you are aware of Noah, but Noah is someone that I've given advice to. Actually, do you guys just have faith in Stacey that I must know what I'm talking about when it comes to communication? Or do you guys feel that you need to know anything about me to have a sense of belief that I must know what I'm talking about? Or do you have complete faith in Stacey, Michelle?
Complete faith in Stacey.
Complete faith in Stacey. Okay. All right. So the fact that Noah Harris just wrote Jamie is the best in the chat. All right. And the fact that we got complete faith in Stacey, that would mean there's a method to my madness. That would mean I don't need to share anything about myself. I don't even have to have Noah come on board and share with you where I've helped him out. All right, Terry, we had a call earlier on today and you're on. Terry, if you could unmute yourself for just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. What did we speak for? What, like 10 minutes this afternoon?
Yeah, roughly about 10 minutes.
Okay. So I don't know what it sometimes when I go off. So let me ask you this, Terry, from the standpoint of we spoke for 10 minutes. Did you feel like you got a good gauge that I must know what I'm talking about for you to come on board here?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I wanted to hear more.
Okay, great. So here's the deal. All right, the first lesson I'm going to teach you guys. Have you ever gone to a presentation, any of you, and the speaker starts talking for the first 10, 15 minutes and they do a complete, like, kind of, let me tell you all about myself, and they talk for 10, 15 minutes and you haven't learned anything yet? Have any of you experienced that kind
Almost
of
every time.
Almost every time, right? So here's what's interesting about me. At the end of this workshop, my phone starts blowing up. I already had people from this afternoon's workshop I did with Stacey's storage group call up and seek my guidance. And the idea is this: very few people, if anything, know anything about me. And that's because one of the principles I teach is make sure you're not guilty of oversharing. If any of you have been like me where you're passionate about something, people who are passionate can sometimes do what? They can talk a lot about what they bring to the table. And what ends up happening is they share things that aren't necessarily of value to the prospective client. Hey, Michelle, I'm going to do something. I promised Terry I was going to do this. I did this afternoon. Michelle, I've been to, are you like me? Do you like to have a lot of fun?
Yes.
Okay, I've been told I'm a wizard and that I can read minds. Would you find it fascinating if I read your mind?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so we're gonna have a bit of fun here. It's all of 30 seconds, Michelle. I can't even see your face, and yet I'm gonna read your mind. All right, this is how powerful this could be. So, not a trick, Michelle, but think for a moment. I don't know why a pack of playing cards is coming to my mind. All right. So what you're going to do, answer these questions really, really fast without jumping ahead. Okay, go really, really quick without jumping ahead. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind when I answer this, when I ask you this, without jumping ahead, but go really, really fast. So imagine you and I are going to play a game of cards. So we take out the jokers. Okay. Now going really, really fast without jumping ahead. Once we take out those jokers, you've got two colors, right? You've got black, you've got red. Pick one.
Red.
Okay, even quicker. Of the red, you got hearts, you got diamonds. Pick one.
Diamonds.
Of the diamonds, you got number, you got face. Pick one.
Face.
Okay, face. Of the face, you got the jack, the queen, the king. Pick one.
King.
Okay. What card am I holding up?
The queen.
No. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't see a screen. It just
okay.
says, oh, wait. Yes, the king.
Okay. Terry, can you unmute yourself a sec?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you see? All right. So what I just did, Terry, was what I was talking to you earlier about. The idea behind that not being a trick, that is, we are going to be outcome driven. The King of Diamonds, Michelle, is the only card I carry in my wallet.
Woo!
Now, Noah, can you just, can you unmute yourself? I know you might be at
I'll try, Jamie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What card does everyone ever go to? Every time?
Jamie, aka the King of Diamonds Miller.
Okay, Jamie aka the King of Diamonds Miller. Okay, so hopefully that's enough. The idea being, thanks Noah. The idea, guys, being is every time you go into an interaction with a prospective client, you want to have a deep predetermined outcome, a deep thinking as what do you want the outcome to be as a result of the conversation that you're having? And therefore, what it will do is it will mean you'll stay away from some really bad questions or saying some of the wrong things. All right. When you overshare, by the way, that's going to be a problem because you don't know with what you're sharing the other person cares about. Plus, Michelle, who should be doing all the talking when you're selling somebody? Who should be doing all the talking, you or the other person?
The other person.
The other person. Right. So if you're sharing too much, that could be a problem, right?
Right.
So now, what movie is this from? Anyone you know what movie this is?
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid. And Terry, what is Daniel being taught here?
Wax on, wax off.
Right. Now, when he's being taught this, do you remember him being like, Mr. Miyagi, what has this got to do with karate? And then by the end of the movie, did it have everything to do with karate, right? And how he defended himself.
Everything came together.
Okay, so I'm going to promise you, you guys are going to have a lot of wax on, wax off moments tonight because I'm going to talk to you how I engage in conversation with my kids, how I've helped guys to get dates online. And it's the same verbiage that you're going to use when you're in front of your prospective clients. All right. So now my former British self, I've been told I'm very charming, debonair. I've even been told I can swear and it sounds polite. I will not swear. Even Michelle said she loved my accent. I will not swear here. Just understand I am a proud American now. I even have a truck in my driveway. Yay, America. All right. It's not turned me into Captain America just yet. Michelle, Terry, I only pick on you guys because Noah's already a client of mine. Could you guys agree? I can't teach everything in half an hour, 45 minutes to you about every situation you're going to face. Can we just agree with that?
Agreed. Yes, agreed. Okay.
So my goal is to teach you as much as I can in the time that I've got with you guys. Now, Michelle, Terry, when I get better in selling and communication because I teach this stuff every day, all day long. In one word, Michelle, one word answer. All right, and Terry, if I haven't done this for you, in order for you guys, let's say I share something with you tonight and you want to get better at it. What is one thing that you've got to do in order to get better at something? In one word, what have you got to do?
Communicate.
Well, no, let's say I share something with you and you want to get better at it. What is something you have to do? Okay, practice. Right. Everyone in the world, here's what this will prove to you as a point. We hear as human beings what we want to hear, not what is actually said to us. One of the most important skill sets we have to get better at is listening. I clearly said at the beginning, I get better at this, at selling and at communication because I teach it all day, every day. I'll then ask a group like yourselves, what in one word do you have to do to get better at something? And everyone says practice. All right. The word is teach. All right. And watch this, guys. Have you ever had anyone approach you and say these words to you? I'm not here to sell you something.
100 times.
Okay. When they say those words, though, even though the words are, I'm not here to sell you something, what do you actually hear them saying to you?
I'm here to sell you something.
Here to sell you something.
Right. So it does. So the idea is if I say under no circumstances, do not, whatever you do, think of a pink elephant. What do you guys start thinking of? A pink elephant. Right. So understand the words that not everyone is hearing what you're actually saying. All right. And you're not hearing what is actually being said by someone. Could that be a big dilemma when it comes to communicating with people?
Yep.
All right. So if you're saying things like this, would you mind me sharing something? Or would you, I hope I'm not being an inconvenience. Anything like that, all right, you're actually planting the words in their head. All right, so for instance, instead of saying, would you mind, or would you be closed off to hearing X, you're better off using a positive connotation saying, are you open to hearing X? And the person in front of you is more inclined to go along with you, right? Just so you know in the communication. Building rapport is the single foundational thing of any meeting you'll ever go into with someone. Does anyone remember the very first question I asked at the beginning of this whole workshop that got you all just to answer with a yes? Here's the good news. No one ever remembers the question.
Something about communication.
Meaning when you're in front of your clients, no one. What's that? Harry?
So it was something you were saying something about communication in the beginning.
Right. But no one ever remembers specific words. Here's the deal, guys. Everyone will buy from people they feel the same as. No one buys from people where they feel like this person does not get me. All right. So the idea with that is this. I use this on purpose. I've used it quite a bit. 3 words in a row. You like me. All right. You like me. So my first question was, how many of you like me believe communication is important for what you do? Everyone says yes to it. If I said to you, Michelle, are you like me? Do you like it when people are honest with you?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had someone say, no, please lie to my face. All right. If I said to Terry, are you like me, Terry? Do you value your time? What are you going to answer to that?
Totally, yes.
Totally, yes. We are the same. It doesn't matter whether I'm from England or Australia or any other country for that matter, man, woman, different ages. All right. When you go, you like me general, you're making someone the same. Now, specifically, Michelle, what do you do for a living? Are you a real estate investor full time? What's your story?
So far, I'm just doing it part-time. I've been doing some wholesaling here in the Bay Area near San Francisco. And it hasn't been so great, but I also took a turn for my health. So I haven't been on it, like I should have been. So I'm just getting back started.
That's fine. Let's say you are a wholesaler, you go up to someone, you'd be like, you want it, the more specific you can get, by the way, guys, the more elevated your rapport, the more likely you can bring on a client within one meeting. All right. So Terry, what do you do other than holding events? Is it holding events? Is that what you do permanently, Terry?
No, I'm heavily invested in real estate, everything from development to wholesaling.
Okay.
And then I mentor people in the real estate space.
Okay. So if I'm you, Terry, and I'm in front of a client, a prospective client, and I want to elevate the rapport and be very specific, all right? And so, let's say I'm you, Terry, and I'm talking to Michelle. I'll be like, Michelle, are you like me? Do you believe that, you know, real estate investing is a very sensible place to put your energy and time in order to get the most out of things in life? Michelle, how would you answer that?
I would say yes.
Absolutely. Did you see what I did there, Terry? I'm getting very specific about what I do, and I'm finding out, does someone think the same way I do and value me before I've even shared anything?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. The next slide I do usually gets a boom moment. All right. If we know that people are more likely to do business with us when we're the same as them, look at my text message. Monica, who reached out to me, and her first ever text to me was, "Good afternoon, exclamation mark, space, upside down question mark." Her ending was upside down question mark, thank you, period, upside down question mark. I had to Google how to do an upside down question mark. Look at my response. Good afternoon, exclamation mark, space, upside down question mark. At the bottom, upside down question mark, thank you, period, upside down question mark. Terry, you might not have picked up on this afternoon. All right. But when we got on the phone, I can't remember exactly what you said, but I would have mirrored you. If you would have said, "Hey, Jamie," I would have said, "Hey, Terry." All right. If someone says hello, say hello, not hey. If someone uses the word kids, don't use the word children. I'm not telling you guys lose your soul or your sanity over this. It's just where you can use certain individual words subliminally, it's going to make other people feel like you get them. All right. And it's just based on, have any of you learned the principle of mirroring before?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
not me.
This is just doing it at a more consistent level across the board in your emailing, phone calls, when you're in front of someone. The idea is using word for word. Now,
Yeah, I like that.
Now, Terry, I know you've got kids because you're at your son's basketball game. I know Noah has kids. Michelle, do you have kids?
I do.
Okay. If you're like me, you like your kids to do certain things, and no kids like being told what to do. So I never tell my kids what to do. So actually, Rubes, I have my kids go to their rooms so they could there could be silence whilst I do this workshop. Watch this, guys. If I want my kids to clean their rooms, I'm not going to tell them to do it. I'm going to get them to tell me. All right. And here's how it works. I say, "Kids, do you love it when dad's happy?" And thankfully, they'll say yes. I'm like, "Great. What specifically could you be doing around the house at this present moment that would make dad happy?" And they say, "Clean our rooms, making our beds." And I say, "I agree with you." The idea is every interaction you go into with a prospective client, you want to end your dialogue with the words, "I agree with you." If you can, what you've done is you've made it their idea to go along with your services. All right. You start with the outcome is, "I agree with you." The guy to the right, here's a really important thing for everyone doesn't matter what industry you're in. A lot of people are amateur and guilty of doing this play. So I would go to LA Fitness to work out, and I would go up to the guy at the end of the workout and say, "Hey, I'm thinking of checking out Planet Fitness down the street." Here's what the LA Fitness guy starts doing. Well, they don't have the swimming pool. They don't have the racquetball court. They don't have the basketball court. They don't have the aerobics room with the punching bags. And I say, "That's terrific. Now you've got me thinking I'm paying too much money for my membership here." And they look at me like I've got 4 heads. All right. Michelle, why do I think I'm paying too much money to belong to LA Fitness based on their response?
I'm not sure.
Terry, why would you think?
Because you don't need all the things that he's mentioning as extras. You're not using them.
I don't
They're not
value them. I
important to
don't
you.
use them. They're not important to me. How many times in sales do people go off about, Terry, how many times do people go off about every feature and benefit that they think that they've been told that the client should love? And so they start going on a tangent about all those things.
Yeah, too much.
Right. The more you share of if you guys share more information and the person doesn't value it, they're going to actually ask you, will you do it for cheaper? All right, if I don't want those things. People will do things based on one value. Now, there's two women on here, all right, they're going to like this. The men, not so much, are not going to like this. Women are better salespeople than men. I'm going to repeat this expression twice so it hits home for you guys. Everyone on the planet, you, me, everybody, we do things on emotions first, and then we justify it with logic afterwards. So everyone in the world does things on emotions first, they justify it with logic afterwards. I bought a truck. I said I own a truck. I bought a truck to feel like a man. That's me being really vulnerable and accurate and transparent with you guys. All right, if the guy starts talking about the EcoBoost and these rims, I'm going to be like, can I get a truck for cheaper? Which doesn't have those things. That still makes me feel like a man. All right, you need to find out the emotional reasons as to why someone would want to do something. All right, and what I'm going to do is teach you really good questions and the way you can do that on a consistent level. Have any of you ever learned before, whoever asks the questions wins the conversation?
Can you repeat that? What'd you say?
Whoever asks the question, it leads, steers, or directs what way that conversation's going to go. Terry, is that a concept you've ever learned before?
Yes.
Okay.
Completely.
If I asked you, what do you do for it? Let's say we were networking, Terry, and I was physically in front of you, all right, at a networking event. And I came up to you and all it had was a name badge that said Terry. And I came up to you and said, what do you do? What would your initial response be?
I would say I'm in real estate.
You're in real estate, right? So would you believe me, if every time I go up to a realtor, I go, what do you do? They say, I'm in the real estate business. I help people find their dream homes. They try and come up with something fancy. I help people build generational wealth. All right, I've heard of strange things, but here's what the theme is. People have learned about the power of questions, yet when they're asked one of the most important questions in life, what do you do? Everyone reverts to making a statement. All right, the second you make a statement, can you understand, guys? You don't know if the person in front of you actually values you based on that. So I'm going to show you guys today during this workshop what I would say when someone comes up to me and says, what do you do to achieve the outcome, which is a meeting with that person? And it won't be making statements. All right, so hopefully you would like that. There's really good questions. There's really bad questions. All right. A bad question to ask someone you've never met before. All right. And we're programmed to ask it is, how are you? All right. If one of you called me up, you've never met me before, and you ask me, how are you? And you're trying to sell me something, I'm going to say, well, since you asked, and then I'm going to go off a tangent about my whole day. It's not going to get you pertinent information that's going to help you get to the sale and what it is you actually want from that meeting. All right. Now, here's the biggest question. Noah's just hopped off. He's seen me do this, and he's actually the person I'm going to relate to this question. Terry, you and I talked about this earlier on, and you said, what is the way you would approach it, right? What do you think the price is worth? All right.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, just so you know, it should be a critical lesson. There's not a lot of you on here. That's fine. I'm going to give the same energy I told Stacey, regardless how many people are on this platform tonight. I'm sure there might be people who listen to this archive, right? But if you're an investor, you don't want to be asking the seller, what do you think your property is worth? Because if you're asking them that question, you're now giving that person the ability to justify to you what they think it's worth. And usually they're going to be emotionally tied to paying off a certain amount of debt. And they might think their estimation on what the property is worth is way higher than what you think it's worth. If you ask them, what do you think your property is worth? You're asking them a question that's going to steer that conversation in a direction you do not want it to go. I'll use a wax on, wax off moment for you. If my kids do something naughty, the last question I'm going to ask them is, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? Those are not the questions I want the answer to. The question I want the answer to from them would be, why shouldn't you have done that? Then I want to see their eyes go into their head and think, and then share with me that they have a greater understanding of why they shouldn't have done something. That's just as an example. All right. So Terry, I went through the play earlier on with you. What did you think about that play? If someone says, I think my house is worth X.
Yeah, I like it, and I wrote down notes on it, and I'm going to put it to the test tomorrow with my people and see how it works. But I could see how it will work.
Perfect. Love it. Oh, so I'm going to have some fun here. Michelle.
Yes.
Okay, we're in a safe environment here. I'm going to ask you a few questions and just to see your answers, and then we'll have some fun with this afterwards. Okay. All right, okay. Michelle.
I'm going to answer as best as I can. I'm driving too.
Oh, you sound very, I like the way you talked earlier, so I know you're going to own this. So okay. if there was one thing in the world that you wanted that you don't currently have, and if you weren't to achieve it, like some people say leave a legacy, some people say travel somewhere, it could be anything. What would that one thing be that if you weren't to achieve it, you would be devastated? What would that be for you?
Wait, say that again, please.
If there was one thing that you absolutely wanted to achieve in life, and that if you weren't to achieve it, you would be devastated, what would that one thing be for you?
To get all the homeless people off the streets.
Wow. Okay. So you could have said anything. Why did you pick that?
Because that's something that I hold dear to my heart, and it hurts me to see all of these people on the street living when they should be in a home.
Okay. How would you feel if you were absolutely able to achieve that for people that are homeless? How would that make you feel?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay. Alternatively, how would you feel, Michelle, if you were never able to achieve that for anyone? How would that make you feel?
Very hurt and sad.
Very hurt and sad. It sounds to me like you're pretty serious about this.
Very.
Okay, let's say I had the answers factually, not hypothetically. Let's say I had the answers factually for you to be able to achieve that for yourself. Would you commit to doing everything to take advantage of it?
I sure would.
And what value would you place in that kind of service? A low one or a really high one?
Very high.
Very high. Okay. Terry, did you see what I did there, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you directed her to where you wanted the conversation to go.
Yeah, I just used 4 questions. Michelle, I used what, why, how. All right. And the idea is that means I'm just asking questions of the other person. Just so you're aware, I use what, why, how in every interaction, and we'll have a bit of fun. If I have your permission, Stacey let me share this earlier on. I've got clients I help with online dating. So here's a wax on, wax off moment. I was with a client in a car driving to South Florida, and he was writing to this girl wrote to him, and he goes, what would you write? And I said, I'll do the what, why, how approach. And I look at the question I had him ask her. If you could pick one characteristic that you want when choosing to go on a date with someone, what would it be? The lady said chivalry. I then said, write this. I believe chivalry is important. Why did you pick that characteristic? And then she goes, it shows how someone will treat you. And frankly, there are not too many men with chivalry. I then said to him, then now you want to ask the how part, the feeling part. So if I'm able to illustrate chivalry is important in the way that I treat someone, would you be up for meeting up? Clear question. Would that feel like you've met someone rare? He goes, she goes, I like your response. The answer is yes. So my client was able to get a date without telling her anything about himself. All the focus is on the other person, what they want. Are you guys getting the power of this? With regards to this, anytime you're in front of a client, just ask what they would want regarding your services. What benefits would they get regarding? So, oh, why is that? How would that feel to get there? All right, it makes it a lot easier to ask for the business. Just so you know, you don't have to have a British accent to do this. Jim Roman is a business coach. He'd never knew of what, why, how. He's been doing it for decades. He said, guess what I did to close the deal and how I did it? Trust me when I say it was an awesome experience. So it works for everyone. Now I'm going to teach you. That's awesome. All right. Now I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you a one-off question that funny enough, I already asked it as to how you can get someone to sell themselves without you telling them anything. All right. I asked this of Michelle earlier. Michelle, I said, before I start sharing communication with you guys, what benefits do you get being better in the area of communication. And you started saying everything that you would benefit from. And then I was able to ask after that, would you get more business as a result of being better in the area of communication? And you said what?
Yes.
Yes. So not only did I get you to sell yourself on my services before I taught you anything, I got you to admit you'll put way more money in your pocket if you're better in the area of communication. And I hadn't even told you anything yet.
Right.
All right. So, Terry, just to be a little bit cheeky here, if I had got on the phone with you, I tried to leverage, if you remember, your relationship with Jen, right?
Yes.
Okay. If I didn't know Jen and I was just to get on the phone with you, the question I would ask you, hey, before I start sharing too much with you, Terry, what benefits would you think you would get having communication being taught to your audience? Then who would be directing the conversation?
You would be directing the conversation.
And then what would you have to come, what am I asking you to then share with me?
What benefits that I would like to receive?
Well, what benefits you would actually get? What benefits would you get having me come along and speak? And now you have to tell me all the benefits. And then I'm going to be like listening to what you value. And then I'm just going to make sure I deliver on those things. That's the, you guys can do the same thing. And just so you know, I have a client. So I use this. I got a young lady to drive 2 hours. Noah can actually attest to this. I got a girl to drive 2 hours in South Carolina to see me just by texting. What would you say the benefits would be for you to come and see me if you could share? And the young lady lists them off. 1, spontaneity. 2, new opportunity. 3, interesting conversation. 4, no regrets. 5, living in the moment. I just use those magic words. I agree with everything you just shared. So with that being said, what do you think you should be doing right now? And she said, driving down to see you. And I said, great, I'll see you in a couple of hours. On the right-hand side, one of my clients turned around and asked the same question of a girl, and they wrote an entire essay to him. So, Terry, you can practice this with your group tomorrow. Just before you start sharing stuff, let's say you're going to share about a topic. Say, before I share about this topic, what benefits do you guys think you get learning about X? And then watch them start selling themselves to you on that topic. Just as a bit of fun.
I like that.
All right, now, guys, if for any of you who, so the King of Diamonds play here, guys, by the way, is this. We want to sell outcome. If I'm emailing someone, the only thing I want to sell in my email is a phone call. If I'm on the phone with someone and I want to sell a meeting, I'm going to sell either a virtual meeting or a face-to-face meeting. I'm not going to be long-winded. How many of you like me do not like long emails? All right, but you see tons of people sharing emails, everything about themselves and everything they think they can do for someone. So I flip the script. A lot of scripts I see out there are 90% discovery, 10% about a meeting. And I'll teach you an amateur play that a lot of people say in their dialogue that does not help them. It takes them away from the sale. All right, but the whole goal of an email is to sell a phone call. The whole phone call is to get off the phone as quickly as possible and sell a meeting. In front of people, Michelle, would you agree that when we're in front of people, we have a lot more chance of understanding them and engaging with them to get the sale?
Yes.
Yes, good. You're going to have to ask yourself this and look at all your dialogue. If you feel like there is everyone else on the planet could write the same exact words that you're writing to someone, you are coming across as a robot. A good indication of robotics is when you are emailing someone or reaching out, if you're just changing out the name of the recipient and the rest of it's all the same, the chances are it's not going to have the impact that you're wanting. The more personalized and customized you guys get, the more chance you're going to get the outcome that you're wanting. Here's what, Terry, you and I spoke about this earlier on, all right? The words I want. You want to remove the words I want or anything that's similar to that. I would just like, I just wanted. You hear everyone in social media and videos saying, I just wanted to share this message with you. Here's the truth about the words I want. Terry, since you have how many kids do you have, Terry?
3.
3. Have you ever gone grocery shopping with them and you get to the counter and they have the candy there, right? At every grocery store.
Yep.
Have your kids ever turned around and say, Dad, 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 I want candy? And what is always typically your initial response?
No.
No. So here's the lesson, guys. If we don't care what our own kids want, what chance do we have of complete strangers caring about what we want? When my daughter Ruby came up to me at 8 and said, Dad, I want a cell phone, I said, no, your brother didn't get one till he was 12. Very easy. If she would have come up to me and said, Dad, do you care about my safety? We would have a very different conversation, all right, on that front. So the idea is this: we want to remove the words I want from our vocab because our clients don't care about that, all right? Now, Terry, I'm going to role play with you, and I'm going to get you to want to meet with me in the near future. And I'm not going to do an I statement, all right? So I'm going to show you how this works. So Terry, let's say we're networking. You just see a name badge that says Jamie, and you're going to say, Jamie, what do you do? All right, and then we'll role play, and I'll show you how I get the King of Diamonds is you to meet with me in the near future. So okay, let's go for this. Can you hear me, Terry?
Yeah. It went. I lost my Bluetooth. It just freaking.
Oh, no problem.
So I missed some of that. Sorry.
Oh, so we're going to role play as if you and I have never met, and I'm networking with you. We're at the same event, and you go, Jamie, what do you do?
Jamie, what do you do?
Do you know what, Terry? That's a very interesting question. My clients have said that what I do is very important for some reason. Would you say the ability to communicate is important?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, I'm always curious. Why would you think so?
Because communication creates results. Good communication creates results.
So, you know what? The irony, I haven't even shared with you what I do yet, Terry. You've just shared with me that you absolutely must value it. Because I teach people how to communicate. Funny enough, let me ask you this. Let's say I knew things around communication, since you think it's so important, Terry. Let's say I knew things that you didn't currently know. Would that make it worthwhile for you and I to meet in the near future?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Hey, Terry, have you ever been to an event like this and you get business cards and you have a great interaction like this and you get a business card and then you have to come up with some glorious email that we met at this networking event? And I don't know what your thoughts on it are. I know what my thoughts are. Have you ever experienced, what's that term? Ghosting. Has that ever happened to you?
What's the term you use? The ghosting?
Ghosting. Ghost.
Oh, ghosting. Ghosting. Yes.
It's no fun, right?
No.
No, I tell you what, let's make sure, Terry, that doesn't happen between you and I. Technology's come such a long way. Today is Tuesday, the 18th. Coffee on me. How does next Tuesday look for you at 2 o'clock for our afternoon coffee?
If you want to come down to Key Largo, we can do it.
Great. But do you see, okay. The idea behind the message, though, is this, guys.
Yes.
Right. Terry asked me, what do you do? And I turned it into a meeting opportunity there and then. And I actually had a flow to it where that was the outcome. And at not one point did I tell him a bunch of things I've done and everyone I've helped. Hopefully that's got that kind of thing. What you're going to do in interactions is build rapport, evoke emotion, and a call to action. I built rapport by saying, Terry, are you like me? Are you like my clients? Do you think communication is important? Yes. Why do you think is important? Now I'm evoking emotion. And the call to action is, would you see it as a valuable thing for us to meet up? Yes. Terrific. And that can all take place within the space of 2 minutes. All right. Now I'm going to teach you the sweetest little word on the planet. All right. And if you're not using this word, you're going to become very friendly with this word. That word is yet. The word yet. All right. It stops us from oversharing during meetings too. So this is how it works. There's 3 reasons why the word yet is the sweetest word. The first reason, and it's the least important one, is no one likes the word but. All right, Terry, you're married. If you've ever been in an argument with your wife, or Michelle, if you've ever been in a relationship and you get in an argument, no one likes it when the word but, they feel like the word but is going to come into play. All right, no one is offended by the word yet. So first thing, just substitute the word but for the word yet. You'll never, ever offend anyone. All right, so that's the first thing. The second reason, more importantly for you guys, halfway through a meeting with someone, turn around to them and say, have you heard everything that you need to hear from me yet to feel confident to move forward? All right. When they say yes, the idea is you're seamlessly able to say the next steps are real simple. All right. They can still say no to you, by the way, and then you still get to continue dialogue. Do you know what? That's perfect. What specifically would you feel like you do need to hear in order for you to feel that confident? And then it gets the meeting re-engaged. All right. And then the third reason that people love the word yet is our own self-talk. Conscious communication is just as important about how you talk to yourself. If you say a statement, I haven't reached my goals for my business, that sounds very negative. Watch how your psyche changes when you say, I haven't reached my goals for my business yet. Immediately, the brain's like, you know what? I've still got time. I can still make things happen just by using the word yet. Now I'm going to leave.
Sounds more promising.
Yeah. And that, exactly. And now I'm going to teach you the most powerful word on the planet in sales. When you use this word in a sales aspect and someone answers you with an emphatic yes to this, it's very difficult for them to say no afterwards. That word is believe, guys. Believe. Everyone will do everything in life that they believe. People will go to Rollins College and pay 300 grand to go for a liberal arts education based around belief. People go to church, synagogue, you name it, based on what word? Belief. All right. I'll be a little bit cheeky. Watch this. Terry, Michelle, I know Stacey already does because I came on this afternoon. I know Noah does. Do you guys believe that at this moment, after watching me speak, that I do know what I'm talking about in communication and that I could actually help you guys be better communicators? What would you answer?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Okay. So watch this. When I put my phone number up on the next screen, Terry, you already have it. But when I put my phone number up, let's say you didn't have it, Terry. Michelle, you don't have it yet. What would be a great action for you guys to take when I stick my phone number up?
To give you a call.
Give me a call. Great. Text me. Okay. Now watch this. Did I tell you to call me or text me, or did I just ask you a question?
You just asked me a question.
Okay, great. So I can now say I agree with you. So here's my number, and then that's why my phone number usually it blows up with numbers that I have never seen before, reaching out for guidance and help. So I tell you what, Stacey, I know that I'm not sure if you're
I'm here.
there.
Yeah, okay. I'm still here.
So Stacey, how are we doing on time usually for these events? Because the idea is not to keep people, but if people have questions, I'm not in a rush to, I'm happy to stick around and answer some questions. This is your rodeo.
You're here you got until 8 o'clock. So you got about 10 more minutes.
Okay. So Michelle, Terry, obviously you're welcome to ask questions on this platform too of me. I was going to be a little bit cheeky, Terry, and say, have you heard everything that you need to hear from me yet to feel confident to invite me to Jamaica?
You're definitely invited. You're on the list. You've already made the list, so we need to now vet out the rest from there. Go through the board. But I'll tell you, for me, just to give you some feedback.
Yeah,
I consider myself a master at sales. I will put myself up against the best of the best. And I know from total of, I don't know what, 45, 50 minutes, an hour total today of talking to you, that I know that I can learn a lot from you. And not only I can learn a lot from you, my team can learn more from you, because not just in the sales, but I'm just sitting here thinking we've got an e-commerce business that we have a lot of communication that we have to do with onboarding and client success, and even talking to suppliers, and just convincing. The communication is it's key, and I feel like it's one of my weakest points. So I know that you can definitely help all of us out.
Great. And with full transparency, Terry, I'm happy for you to share, because I operate in that light. Did I not tell you this morning, when we spoke, I said, I've been paid the figure of 30 grand to give the same talk that I've just given to you guys. But what did I share with you that I'd rather do, Terry, when I do these talks? Do you remember?
I remember you saying it, but I don't remember what it is.
I said, I like putting my money where my mouth is. I'd rather do
Yes.
the teaching and then have people reach out, and you could, and your testimony there. Can you see where that
Yep.
actually alludes to what I was sharing with you? Like
For sure.
factually. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. So no, fantastic. Michelle, do you have any questions for me at this point
I
about
don't
any
have any,
situations you're facing?
I don't have any questions, but this definitely helps open my communication span more because I'm not so talkative, but I've learned to, open my mouth when something isn't right. So this better helps when you're dealing with wholesaling and you have to make phone calls to potential sellers. So thank you for this. I'm definitely going to tune in for the next session. And this is wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Pleasure. So Noah's just looks like he's just jumped back on board. He can call me at any time at any point to ask me any questions. So Noah, is there anything you wanted to actually Noah, do you know Terry?
Yeah. Hey, Terry.
Okay,
What's up,
good.
buddy? How are you?
What's up, man?
I was going to say
Been a
you guys
while.
should definitely know each other. All right.
Yep.
Like if you didn't, I was going to try and be a classy, like, let me introduce the two of you, so to speak.
Thanks for the intro.
Stacey, it doesn't seem
Yes.
like anyone's got any questions. I mean, I could still share information. I still should share a couple more lessons if you wanted me to. It's again, I've got hours upon hours and hours and hours of.
I mean, unless anybody else has anything, but I mean, I think you did a great job. I mean, everybody, I mean, I know from Storage Nerds that everybody loved it. So I appreciate it. And this will definitely be recorded and it's going to go onto the REI USA website. So I'm sure we'll get more people to listen to it through that way. Okay.
No, fantastic. Stacey, I would hope that I've proved as well that the energy I give, whether there's 3 people on, 10 people on, 1,000 people on, I hope that the energy was evident.
Yes, I appreciate it.
You
Okay,
guys-
good. And it was good to
Thank
talk to you again, Terry, too. I haven't talked to you forever.
I know it's been a while. It's good,
Yeah.
good catching up.
Are you still up in the Carolina area? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina, Raleigh.
North Carolina, that's what I thought. Okay, cool, good, awesome. Well, good to hear from you.
What do we
Okay.
have? North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia on this call.
Hi.
3 combining
And
states.
then San Francisco.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's like way over on the other side. So,
Yeah, that's me, Michelle, the Bay Area.
yes.
Well,
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to be hopefully very familiar with all of you going forward. So I for me, this was a blessing being around good individuals and teaching. I do believe in this. The more I believe in that notion, if I've shared something tonight with you and you want to get better at it, you teach it. I find whenever I teach, the more I teach and the more I do these, the better I get.
Mhm.
So if you've ever
This is exactly what I do. I think teaching helps you communicate better and helps you learn and helps you figure things out better.
But when you teach wholesaling, for instance, Stacey, do you find that you get smoother in your wholesaling transactions the more that you teach it?
yes, absolutely.
Terry, with your son with basketball, if you teach him basketball, you're going to get better at basketball. It's proven for anyone who's ever coached anyone at anything, they get better at what they actually coach. All right. So as a result of that. So
I agree.
No, that's great.
You're absolutely right.
So no, guys, thank you so much for having me, Stacey. And Terry, I'm sure you and I will connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. Take care. All right, we'll be in touch soon. Okay.
Thank you, Jamie.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. God bless.
You too.